Welcome back everyone. So today I'm going to review a show called Beef. No, not this beef, but this beef. Beef is a Netflix series, it's a dark comedy, and I have to say, this might just be one of the most effed up shows that I've ever seen. In a good way. Effed up in a good way. I mean, it's a dark comedy, so it has a lot of funny moments, but there are a lot of dark moments, and there were times that even I was really scared, but we'll get into that in a moment. But first, let me give you a small plot synopsis. By the way, this is a non-spoiler review. I will not be spoiling anything major. Amy and Danny, our two main characters in this show, both of them are very unsatisfied with their lives because of the things they have been through and the things they want to achieve but they cannot achieve it. And they're also very similar in a way. Both of them have a family, they both have their own goals that they want to achieve, but they are really struggling a lot. And this show does something that makes these characters really relatable. There's something that we always want to achieve, but because of certain circumstances, we cannot achieve them. And when we want to achieve them, we have to make a lot of sacrifices along the way. That's something that this show does very well, and it shows with these two characters as well. And another thing that makes these two characters similar are the fact that they're both horrible. Yes, these two characters are really horrible. They have done some really effed up, messed up, and horrible stuff in this show. They are horrible people. And one day they meet each other through a road rage, and the show carries on from there. And they also have very effective backstories as well. Actually, Amy's backstory, I would go on to say, was actually very scary to me. Yeah, it was pretty scary. And it also explains why these characters are this way, like why they are so horrible or why they are so messed up. Like Amy is this character who likes to, I'm gonna put the word below, and her backstory explains why, and explains why she's the way she is, why she's acting so horribly towards people. And Danny, his backstory just made his character really emotional and also explained why he's the way he is as well. And throughout the show, we get to see what the horrible stuff these characters have done. Both of them have a family and they both want to support their family, at the same time want to achieve their goals as well. For Danny, it is to become this really successful construction worker, and that's why he goes to these churches and goes to these people and asks them for construction work. And for Amy, it's mostly becoming this plant entrepreneur. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that word correctly. So she has to get help from her husband. Hopefully the husband can support her in this, but at the same time she doesn't want her husband to give up on the things he loves as well, which is something related to his family background, his father and his creations. And for Danny, he wants his brother to stay with him and support him at all times in his business. Now the plot synopsis is over, let's move on to what I think about the show. Again, the show is really messed up in a good way. First and foremost thing I really like about the show is the two main characters. I really like their two main characters. They are very realistic characters and they are horrible characters as well. When I mean by horrible characters, I don't mean they were horribly written. In fact, they were very well written characters, just that through their actions, they're just evil. Their actions are just evil. So that's what I meant by horrible characters. And here's another thing, just like many of my favorite other characters, these characters who are doing evil actions, it makes sense that they're doing these kind of things. Like sometimes when a character does some really evil things but you can't get behind him because you don't know why he's doing it, like it doesn't make sense at all, you wouldn't like the character. But in this case, it makes sense with their backstories. It actually makes sense why their actions are quite evil. It lets us connect with the characters even more. Yeah, just wanted to clarify on that. I really like the dynamic between the characters, how they show the similarities between these two characters. And another thing is how they interact with their family members. And instead of just focusing on the two main characters, this show also focuses on the plethora of side characters in the show as well. Like there are a lot of side characters in this show and some of them are real bitches. I mean it. They're really bitches and they're really horrible people. But some of them are also really nice people. Like Danny's brother Paul, he's a really good guy. The shit and the stuff that these two characters do, the manipulation, the tricking, the sabotaging that these two characters do is really the most entertaining part for me. It's really refreshing to see our main protagonist of a show or a story doing some really horrible stuff. Yes, We rarely get shows where the main protagonist is actually not a very good person, is actually a horrible person. It's really refreshing to see that. And there are also very complex themes discovered in this show, especially towards the end of the show. I won't talk much about them, but they are really complex themes, and these characters will do anything at all to get what they want. That's the first and foremost thing that I really liked. It was really entertaining to see these characters do their stuff, and it's really interesting to see how these two characters are messing up each other's lives as well. Yes, they are messing up each other's life, all because of their, and it all started off with that road rage. I'm not kidding. This show has a tendency to keep the suspense as well, like keep us hanging on for quite a while. Like something happens to a character and you don't know if it's really true. Did this really happen to the character? And then they keep us on for a while, maybe until the next episode even, and then we know what exactly happened. Like something happens and then we are really shocked by it. Like we cannot even believe it, and we don't even know if it's true. We don't even know the credibility if it's true. And then they keep us until maybe up to the next episode, or maybe at some point in the episode, and then they reveal what happened. This show really does great in keeping the suspense, and I really like the aesthetic of the show as well. Another thing I really like, again, the side characters are all amazing. Some of them are really bitches, but they are good guys as well. And you would think that, certain characters are also good guys, but in reality they are horrible as well. I'm not going to say which characters exactly, but this show has a tendency to come out of nowhere and suddenly shock you as well, in a good way also. And from the beginning to the end, you see the relationship between our two main characters really develop into something else. And there are some things that happen in the show which makes no sense at all. Yeah, I'm not kidding, it makes no sense, but it adds to the comedy of the show. When I saw one specific scene in the last episode, those who have seen the show know what I'm talking about. I was laughing my ass off. No kidding. I was really laughing it. Like, what? Is this really happening? Am I seeing things wrongly? Like, what is going on here? And yeah, this is an A24 production. I really like the production that went behind this film. And lastly, there's probably going to be a season 2. Yeah, the way that the show ended is alluding to the fact that there's going to be a season 2. Quite curious to see where they go on from here, because there were a few loose strings that were not tied yet in season 1 as well. So hopefully they close up those strings in season 2 as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see the future of the show. The show is fantastic, especially if you're one of those people who really like dark comedies or really messed up shows. This is the show for you. If you're someone who doesn't like those kind of things, then just give it a try. And if you don't like it, then don't force yourself to watch it. Also, it's if I'm not wrong, this show is M18 or rated R. So definitely not meant for a younger audience as well. That's all I have for today. If you like this video, click the like button and see more, subscribe to my channel, and see you guys next time. You guys are always the best.